Hey listeners, welcome back to another episode of the Marg Sippin Sistas. Today, Tracy and I decided, because we're on vacation, that we are going to do a podcast from Arizona, and we are going to talk about Arizona trips. Right, Tracy?
We have quite a few interesting vacations. We drive out here every year. It takes us about 22 hours, and there's quite the trip.
Yeah, we've had some really good times. So this year, when we came out here, we have brought with us my youngest son, Caden, his good friend, Levi. And Levi has decided to join us on our podcast tonight. So, Levi, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me. Yeah.
And along the 23-hour drive this time, Levi's came up with some good adventures with us, right?
I mean, I've only been here a week, and this is my first time out here, and I've already got enough to cover a podcast. So, if that tells you anything about these trips, it's right there.
It's right there.
What has been your most memorable thing so far on this trip?
When Kane and I were playing golf, he was having a tough day because the clubs were too small for him, and so he hits one, and he was like, "Oh, it went on that side of the tree," and I'm like, "No, it's on this side of the tree." He goes, "Oh, I forget you know everything." And so he turns to start to walk away, and I put my club in his ass. I mean, he turns around, pushes it to the side, and he goes, "I swear to God, I'm about to hit you." And I'm standing there giggling to myself, and I'm like, "Oh, relax." And so now anytime you hear us go, "Come on, Kate, trust me, Kate, I know everything." It's that right there.
It's that, yeah.
That's funny.
So, when we come out here every year, Brian's parents live here in Arizona. So for the past 16 years, we've been coming here to Arizona and driving. We've flown one time in 16 years.
Could have been 2 times, huh?
And nope, only once, and the only reason why we flew that one time, it was because I had just had surgery, and there was no way that I was going to make a 22-hour car ride.
Wasn't his dad sick that time, so that's why you flew also?
No, I think it was
time.
more because I had
you.
just had surgery, and I was like, I can't sit for 22 hours in a car. We've got some good memories. Like, sometimes we come out by ourselves as the family of 5. Sometimes we've brought Tracy and Chris with us. Sometimes this is the first time that any of our boys have been able to bring a friend.
I feel so special.
You should feel really special.
I'm one of one so far.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so this time we got here, and Grandma and Grandpa, my in-laws, live right by a golf course. So we let the 2 older boys go. We let Caden and Levi go golfing on Sunday.
When we first got here.
Yeah, this is day 1 that we got here. And they had to, in their defense, when Levi says that Caden was using too short of clubs for being 6'3".
I mean, they were even short for me, and I'm only 5'10", so
yeah,
short for me, and Caden's 5 inches taller than me, and then the clubs get shorter and shorter.
Shorter and shorter, and because you guys were using
women's clubs.
Grandma and Grandpa's clubs,
yeah.
So Grandma's women's clubs is what they were using, but you made the best of it.
Yeah. She's pretty tall. I can't believe her golf clubs are so short.
Tracy, Grandma has not used these golf clubs since they moved here.
Oh, and that was a while ago.
They've been here probably 18 years.
Surprisingly, they were not as bad as... Well, some of them were still wrapped up. Like, still had the plastic on them.
Really?
Oh,
yeah, so
probably never used them.
No, we didn't even need to pull them out because none of the holes are long enough that you probably need to, use anything crazy to get 500 yards. The longest one is probably 500 yards. You don't even need a driver for that.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I did tell you guys that when you got to hole 4, which is right out Grandma and Grandpa's front door, let me know, because I was going to go over there and take some pictures.
And you did.
I did. By golly, I came over there, and I was a little scared for my life because they hadn't teed off yet. Oh. I thought they were going to hit me. They didn't hit me. I hid behind the tree.
Well, maybe you should have stepped out.
Right?
You might have hit me. You might have did a better shot because... Yeah. Caden's went one direction one way, one direction the other way. Levi, yours went in the weeds.
It bounced off the hill right there. I saw it roll down.
Well,
And where'd your
Caden-
second one go?
It was just short.
It was short.
It wasn't that bad though.
But then Chris and Brian came over because they needed to get in on the action. And Chris is using the ball grabber, what's that thing called?
Just a ball grabber, yeah.
Out of the weeds, getting balls, trying to save balls.
You can never have too many.
You can never have too many balls. Yeah. Tracy, what's your favorite memory coming out here?
I have a couple, but I think the best one is Lisa and I had just switched drivers in Oklahoma.
This was a few years ago.
Yeah, this was at least
3 or 4
years
years
ago.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I see flashy lights behind me. I'm like, Lisa, there's flashing lights behind me.
Okay, wait a minute. Time out. You have to tell them what we were driving.
Oh, we were driving a
29-foot RV. This is Brian and I's RV. We brought it out.
This was my first time ever driving this RV. And there were a ton of semis on the interstate. And so this patrol guy pulled us over.
Came up to the passenger window.
Yeah, he wanted to see stuff. And he's like, I'm just checking to make sure you're okay. The first thing I said was, I'm scared of semis.
I'm afraid of semis, is what you said.
And that guy, he held us laughing. But you heard the boy, all 3 of my nephews were sleeping in the back. And all of a sudden you hear them giggling. Like,
and they said, one of them, I don't know which, they're like, Aunt Tracy's afraid of semis.
Is
and
that
then
why you weren't allowed to drive on the way down here?
Right?
Yes.
And then to top it off, our husbands were sleeping in the bed together, sleeping so that they could take over driving for us. The boys were on like the couch in the dining room table that all folds down, and they were doing it long ways because of their height at the time.
They're all over 6 feet.
And then one of them peeks open the curtains and was like, I can't believe you got pulled over, Aunt Tracy, because you're afraid of semis. I don't know how this officer, I guarantee you we made his night.
Oh, God. I don't know how he held his face. He was like, he looked at us. We couldn't find the insurance card.
We couldn't find the insurance card, so we had to wake up Brian to find that.
And he's like, oh, you're okay. I was just making sure you're okay. And then he let us go.
We're like, no, we just stopped and traded drivers. We're perfectly fine. We got our cappuccinos. We're good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be a first for the cop.
Right?
Oh,
what's with the swerving over here? I'm afraid of semis.
I'm afraid of semis.
Yeah.
And we didn't bother. Probably a good thing. We did not tell him that Tracy's never driven a 29-foot RV before.
Jesus Christ.
We kept that on the DL.
Yeah.
I would have not told him that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the reason I'm scared of semis is because our dad he drove semis. And he would come up next to us or behind us and scare the shit out of us.
Either get like super close to our bumper or lay on the horn.
So that's
something along that lines. Yeah.
I'm scared of semis.
Yeah.
What's your favorite memory, Lisa?
Oh, I have so many. Well, okay, I should probably say in case, I've already said that Brian doesn't listen to these, but in case he ever listens to it, my favorite memory of coming to Arizona, Brian and I actually got married out here. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
I think I've heard that.
Was that at Cathedral Rock?
So we got married at Cathedral Rock. We passed it on the way to Sedona. It's closer to Sedona.
Beautiful.
So we got married out here when the boys were little, and Caden would have been 5.
Yeah.
4, almost 5. He would have been almost 5.
Yeah.
So we had all 3 boys dressed in a white polo with khakis, and Caden and Evan, the day of the wedding, because we had no rehearsal. We just showed up, did this. We had this minister that my mother-in-law found. We were winging this big time. So Evan and Caden, I have a picture of it that I could probably find you if you really want to see it. They are standing on the rocks in front of the water, and they're mimicking Brian and I. So they're standing there holding hands at 5 and 8.
8, yeah.
Pretending to be Brian and I.
Right.
For the wedding. So that I would say is probably one of my favorite memories. And then I was telling Levi in the pool the other day when we were swimming about Caden. Caden does not remember that when he was little, one of our first times driving out here, he was in a car seat.
Oh.
And he says,
God, yes.
there was no
I
warning
remember
for this. It was Mom, I'm gonna throw up. And then all of a sudden, he throws up all over. We're in a minivan at this point. The boys are gagging because Caden threw up in his car seat all over the place. Caden's bawling because he threw up and he has throw up all over him.
It's bad. It
So
smells
we have
so
to
bad.
we have to get to the next town because this is the time where we had gone through Colorado and down and yada yada.
Small town.
We find a town, and then we pull over, and we stop at this car wash, and we get Caden out of his car seat, and he's still bawling because his clothes are messy because he has throw up all over him.
Did we have extra clothes at that time?
Were you with us?
I was.
Oh.
I don't think Chris was. It was me.
We had extra clothes because we came out here to stay, so we had clothes.
True.
And we had to hose off his car seat in the car wash. It was so bad. I think he just got a little car sick at the time, but he's not our child to get car sick. It's Evan.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily there was a car wash there to like
Right?
hose him down.
Thank
Or that in the
goodness,
car
because
wash.
holy buckets, it was bad.
I mean, what do you do with those clothes that he has on?
I didn't put them in a garbage bag.
I think we had like a plastic
Yeah.
grocery bag, and we tied them in that, and put them in the trunk that we had to then smell the whole rest of the way. It was
bad.
awful.
Sounds like that's getting left on the side of the road.
We
Yeah,
should have just
we-
probably left them because
I don't do throw up.
that was bad. That was probably
Yeah.
my least favorite memory
Yeah.
of Tracy, though. Do you remember the time that we were out here and you were out here with us? And so behind my in-laws' house,
Yes.
is big, huge forestry land that you could never build on anything. And the boys talk Aunt Tracy into going on a hike
Oh man.
in this area. And still to this day, kind of, if the boys ask Aunt Tracy to do something, Aunt Tracy's gonna do it
Most of the time.
so she takes
Yeah.
she takes the three boys, and
And they were little at this time.
they go on this hike in the back forestry area. What happened from there, Tracy?
Okay, so we were walking. There were so many, like, what do you call those?
Cow
Cow pies.
Yeah, and we were looking at one. And all of a sudden, we saw. I thought it was a moose.
You thought it was a moose. It was
and
not a moose.
I had to pick Caden up, and we had to run because this moose, which was a cow,
It was a bull.
was following us, and it ended up at. They have a gate, a fence by their pool. It followed us all the way back to their house and stood outside the pool and watched us.
This fella is huge.
Oh my God! Yeah.
They come running in, and kids, Levi, you were one of these at one time,
A
little.
long time ago, yeah.
I mean, you just tell everything. The boys came in, and by golly, they just started rambling so fast about this cow that Aunt Tracy thought was a moose that is actually a bull, and it was chasing them, and they were scared, and they had to run really fast.
And Tracy took us out there, and she thought it was a moose, but it was a bull, and she started chasing, we had to run for our lives. Oh my God, I thought we were gonna die.
Yeah, that's exactly what Caden did.
Oh my God!
Do you know?
It was so scary. I had to carry Caden.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I'm like carrying Caden, and Evan's freaking out. So I'm trying to grab Evan's hand to run back. I was like, good Lord, guys.
It was Blake with us that he was with us.
He was,
and
yeah.
he was just running.
Yeah, he was in front of us.
And Caden did try to get you to reenact this several years ago when you guys came out.
Yeah.
But you did say, I'm not carrying you.
Nope.
You're carrying me, if anything.
Exactly. And we haven't been back on that trail since that time.
No. So, okay, I think I told you this, but Levi, maybe I said this on the way out, Levi, and you heard this, that 2 years ago, because we never came out here last year because we had other stuff going on.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago when we came out, Grandpa says to us, so there's this guy that has been pulling up out front every morning at I don't know what time, 10 o'clock. And he has a bag. And he walks to the back forestry. There's little path between the two houses. And he walks back there, and he's out there for a while, and then he comes back with nothing.
Mhm.
So Grandpa's telling us this. And so the boys and Brian get this wild idea. They're going to go out there and check it out.
Mhm.
So Grandpa is on his phone at the top of the pool deck out here.
Yeah.
Where you can kind of see a little better because it's higher.
Yeah.
And Brian and the boys, and I don't know, for some crazy reason, I decided to go down there with them.
Good.
I went out there with them.
No way.
And we go out there and we're on the phone. And Grandpa's telling us where to go, where he thinks that this guy. So he's got binoculars and a phone.
Oh, good
He's-
God.
On the
he's
pool
doing
deck.
Real scouting before
Real
that.
scouting.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's telling us where to go, to where, if we can see where he thinks this guy was going.
What did he think he was burying?
I don't really
Bones?
know. Like,
Heads?
I don't really know what he was doing, but he kept. So we finally kind of found where we thought was the spot, and we couldn't really see anything that this guy was doing. Like, we found nothing.
Yeah.
Like, we did find a spot where there was like little like burning of maybe some like it kind of almost looked like vegetable fruit cans. Not like pop cans or anything, but like canned goods cans.
Were they open, empty?
Yeah, and burnt.
Interesting.
So I don't know if he was taking some trash back there and burning it, which you can't do, or if what he was doing. I have no idea. But we did find that little area, and that might not have even have been from him. But we found that. Other than that, we really didn't find anything really that this guy was doing. But apparently he had done it for like a couple weeks, and then I think he kind of saw us watching him the week that we were here, and then Grandpa said he never came back.
That sounds kind of fishy, don't you think?
I think we scared him away. Big time scared him. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't be burying and burning stuff out there.
Especially like a forestry land where that's...
Yeah.
It's just gonna blow, and
Yeah.
especially if it's a fire, if it's dry out.
Oh, yeah. And
It's just gonna
Arizona
catch
does
on.
not have... They're very dry.
Yeah.
So there's a high risk. So that's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know what was going on there, but it did kind of sound fishy. Yeah.
I wonder what he was doing. I mean, what could you really be doing out there other than?
I mean, especially when you go out there with a bag, but then you come back with nothing.
Maybe we'll
Like
have
your
to go
bag's
out there
empty.
again and check it out.
We could. Maybe, Grandpa could show us where to go.
Maybe some local wildlife there in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys might be able to pick up here. Of course, we have Lacey. And she is a very good guard dog here by the pool.
Wow.
She's been watching people go in and out the gate to walk back in the forestry land.
Just about every piece of grass that blows past here, she's on.
She's
too.
on it.
Yep. She's protecting us.
Yeah, her dad is supposed to be on
On
dog duty, and he's failing because
Well,
Grandma let her out
Yeah, Grandma came to the rescue.
and did that. But so today we went on a hike.
Oh, yes.
Levi, what did you think of this hike?
I'm not big on hikes. I go out. Me and my mom go on our vacation every year to places where we can hike and do all sorts of stuff. And they're pretty athletic on my mom's side of the family. Not to say that I can't hang with them, but I'm just not one to wake up at 6 a.m. and go watch the sunrise on a hike.
No
Oh,
way.
It's absolutely not what I want to
No.
do. But I mean, we left around like what, noonish probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
around
got there
11.
about 11:30 or so.
Got there about noon.
Yeah.
For the walk up there and the walk back down, I mean, it really wasn't that bad.
Well, and I didn't know, and I'm assuming Kaden obviously knew this, but didn't tell us that. And I didn't know this until after the hike that you were afraid of heights.
I mean,
yeah.
ever since, I mean,
You
since
went up pretty high
yeah,
here.
since
to
I've
this
been,
cave.
I've definitely been way higher, but it's not something that I enjoy. Like, I don't enjoy going up in caves and looking down. I mean, it's just a cave. It's just, it's just trees and mountains. I saw the same thing 20 feet lower than what I was.
Right, looking up.
I just didn't have to
Yeah.
climb through a cave to see it, but I mean, it was cool, but definitely I've been much higher on hikes or cliff diving, or I mean even in the capital of Iowa, you can go all the way up to the
Oh
to
yeah.
the top and look down. That's really. I mean, I did start to freeze up a little bit in there during the cave, and that's never really happened. But
Oh.
I think I'm not really more afraid of heights than I am falling.
Yeah.
Yes.
The more stable I am, the more.
The better.
Yeah.
And it still amazes me out of again, we've been coming to Arizona for 16 years, and we've did several hikes. Sometimes, 2 or 3 hikes in a week that we've did. And it amazes me the age range that you get on these hikes.
For these the people, we saw maybe 8, 9, 10-year-olds walking with their parents, and then we had some guys that were 94, 92.
I was gonna say, how old was that guy that you guys saw?
I mean, I think somebody said he was 92 or 94.
92, and he did not want 94 years old. Our producer's telling us, and he did not want the boys to help him.
No help at all.
Up or down this little part that looked a little steep.
They came around, and Caden was like, "Well, should we see if he needs any help or something like that?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, maybe we'll ask." And so, they're like, "Hey, you guys need any help?" And he's like, "No, we got it." Granted, his daughter, it probably looked like his daughter or somebody that was helping him. Either way, was like, "Yeah, if you guys could help us." And he goes, No, I don't need your help." And so he starts going down. First step he takes, he about goes all the way down, and Kane and I over here hands out of our pockets, we're leaning forward.
I'm gonna grab you.
Are you sure you don't want any help?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it's pretty rough.
I mean, it wasn't like
it was.
It
an
is
easy trail.
No. So.
I mean, especially for him who's 94 years old.
94 years old.
And he's definitely not making half those steps. And
no.
It was really the sand over the rocks made it really slippery.
Yes.
Yeah. And it makes me wonder, do you think that he just went to the 7 pools, or do you think he went up to the cave?
Oh, no.
There's no way he could have made that to the cave. I mean, if this 94-year-old man made it up to the cave, bless his heart.
There's no way.
I mean, I hardly made it up to the caves.
And you are not 94.
Dang near just a straight up. Well, that's a lot, but it was very inclined. High steps, a lot of rocks that you had to maneuver through.
Oh, yeah,
it was tough.
Wow. So when we first got to this hike today, I got this wild idea.
I don't know why. We shouldn't listen to her.
Don't ever listen to me. This is the problem.
Yeah.
I said, Tracy, well, the guys are parking the vehicle that you have to park way in $10 freaking too. Why don't you and I start walking and they'll catch up to us? So this is my blonde wild moment.
It was a good idea.
Yeah, see, Tracy agrees with me. Good idea, Lisa. Let's do it.
I can't walk very fast.
So Tracy and I start. We get maybe how many steps, Tracy? 400 steps. No, maybe more than that. Okay.
Yeah,
because you go down and then
we went up
and down around the corner, then back up.
So we went maybe 100 yards. Let's just say that. So we get up
100 yards to and back, but if you count the elevation and all that,
yeah. So she's following me, and we've said this before briefly on the podcast that Tracy has health problems, and so she has little troubles, doing inclines, and so
they're hard.
I get up to the top of this little incline, and she's right behind me. I thought she was just trekking along. Next thing I know, she's down on the ground. She tripped on the tiniest little rock, and we've always joked with Tracy every time she falls, by golly, Tracy, this better be a plush landing.
This was not.
This was not a plush landing.
Scraped up. I think I sprained my ankle.
So she's on the ground. I try to get her up. I can't get her up by myself.
Well,
so then
I also have a strained Achilles tendon.
Yeah, that happened a couple weeks ago.
So you can't really push up to get up even.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, oh my God, what the heck are we gonna do? I'm not reaching out to Chris on this because, dear Lord, and he's in the parking lot waiting for the rest of the guys to show up. So Tracy kind of scoots back a little bit from the path, and she sits there. And then I was like, Tracy, there's people coming. So I scrouch down next to her, and I pretend I'm on my phone, like we're looking at something. And people walk by us, and they kind of look at us, and they say hi. And then another group walks by, and they're like, are you guys okay? And we're like, yeah, we're fine. As I'm looking at my phone.
Well,
So then there was a break, and I said, okay, let's try this again. So I try helping her up again. Nope, we can't do it because her Achilles tendon. Why we even took her on this walk
and
hike in the first
I
place.
feel like I sprained my ankle falling.
So then I'm like, okay, okay, I'm texting Chris. So I'm like, Chris, I text Chris, and I'm like, can you guys start hiking up this way? And he's like, the guys aren't here yet from parking the van. And I was like, well, Tracy fell, so I need you to help me get her up. So they start walking. So then this nice couple, some people are just so nice.
Yes.
Tracy says to me, I really think I need a Band-Aid for my knee. And this couple that was walking by hears her and says, oh, we have a Band-Aid. Do you need help? So the guy puts his backpack down. He opens up his first aid kit. He digs out this Band-Aid. He gives us 5 extra Band-Aids in case he thinks she's got a fall again. We put the Band-Aid on. And then I said, well, the guys should be here any minute. They should be here hopefully soon, and they can help me get her up. And this guy says, oh, no. I'll help you. So we got her up. So by the time the guys got there, you were up and standing.
I thought you felt like you guys were running.
I mean, a little pep in the step. I mean, we're in like full sprinting. We can only go as fast as the people in front of us.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, because Kaden
slower
did
than
say.
molasses.
And Tracy felt we have to get to her. And the people in front, he goes, I swear they heard me, but they didn't move.
Yeah, they seem to have no desire.
They had no.
We could have said, there's a bear chasing us. Somebody pick up the. There's a bug that just flew here. Somebody pick up the pace, and they would have just.
They were on their own
kept
pace.
on walking.
They were on their own
as
pace.
slow as they were.
It's funny.
Yeah, so.
There's always adventures when I'm involved.
Oh my
Something
gosh,
always
there's always
happens.
adventures. And then, so like, today, we're sitting out here out back. We get back from the hike, and everybody gets in the pool besides Tracy and I, because Tracy needs to rest her knee and her foot and her ankle and whatever the heck she feels she needs to rest. So I come outside to sit, and all of a sudden at the back gate, we hear somebody hollering. Well, it's the neighbor lady. She came over to bring us chocolates.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, the one I had wasn't bad. I don't know if I would eat it again, but it wasn't bad.
Like little mini cakes.
Cakes.
Petite force.
Petty force.
Petty
Force.
force. Petty force.
Is what
I
they're
tried
called.
half of Brian's. It wasn't bad. Would I probably eat another one? Probably not. But
I mean, they're just little mini cakes. I think I had
Yeah.
like a raspberry or a strawberry one. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to eat the whole thing at once. She said, well, only eat half of it. I didn't know that. We eat the whole thing.
you just put the whole thing in your mouth.
We put the whole thing in our mouth.
Why are you only supposed to eat half?
Well, I guess that way you like. It's like a
Try
it's like
it.
a party dessert, like a little get
So
together.
you're supposed to put
It
it
was like a
back?
little 1-inch square.
No, it's like you just eat half of it and then have the other half after.
Oh,
It's like one of those little like fancy party treats that like
gotcha.
They're fancy.
like a glass of champagne and then you have half and then champagne and then the other half and then champagne.
I'm still
Oh.
shocked that Kaden put the whole thing in his mouth and didn't spit it out.
I am too. I mean, it wasn't.
He's a picky
it wasn't
pants
that bad. It was
eater.
just.
Mine was lemon, and I didn't care.
I think
for
that's
it.
what Brian's was too,
The
and I ate his other
chocolate
half.
one was good.
It really just tasted like a chocolate truffle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the chocolate one. Yes.
Yeah.
neighbor comes over, and she sits down with us and has a margarita because hey, it's the Marg Sippin Sistas.
We've got a margarita. We've got food on the grill. I mean, we're having ourselves a grand old night.
We're having ourselves a good
Yeah.
time.
We're sitting outside by the pool right now.
I might be covered up in a blanket because it
We-
might be 50-something degrees, but it also is 8 o'clock at night when we're doing this.
So
Arizona time.
Arizona time, so 10 o'clock Central Time where we live.
We can hear some coyotes in the background once in a while.
I'm intrigued on hearing the coyotes.
I don't think we might be able to hear them.
I can't believe you guys did not hear them the first night we were here.
No.
You must have been so tired from driving.
We got there and we just passed out. I mean, I was up for maybe 30 more minutes, but I've been actually getting some great sleep this week.
Oh,
Better
I
than
have not.
Better than I have at home. I mean, back at home, I just can't sleep at all. Melatonin, I'm laying there for hours and hours. I honestly just can't sleep.
It's probably because you're skipping your 8:30 meds.
Oh yeah, I've skipped my 8:30 meds all week.
Oh,
this week, guys.
and that's why you're sleeping good.
That's why I'm sleeping good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I should stop taking the medication.
Yeah.
I mean, I sure hope your mom listens to this because if she's making you take those meds even though you're an adult, she's gonna realize you're sleeping good.
She wakes me up at 8:30 every morning, makes me take my meds.
Take those crazy meds.
I have to get up at 9 to take my meds,
Just
so
takes
I
her crazy meds at
completely
9 a.m.
understand.
Yeah. Yeah. What else do we have to talk about here? Levi, what else has been, I mean, there's got to be something from the drive here that stuck out to you.
There were a lot of interesting things on the drive.
I feel like you learned a lot about us on the drive here. And keep in mind, I did warn you.
Well,
Yes.
Before we left, I cut your hair
yeah.
the week before. And I said to you, if Caden did not warn you about his dad, Brian likes to walk around naked.
Oh yeah.
Several times already.
I've seen him naked, but I haven't seen him naked. You know what I mean?
It's probably
Yeah.
I've been able to avert my eyes a couple times.
I think he's
Yeah.
been pretty moderate this
has.
trip, probably because you're with us. But
I'm surprised.
usually he gets out of the pool and takes his trunks off and then wraps
Right
around
away,
in the
yeah.
towel. He's been
Yeah.
good about that.
My cousins do the same thing. Now, well, they don't do the same thing to the same extent, but I mean, they get out and they're just like, "Who's around? Is my aunt around or just you?" Okay, I'm like, "What do you mean, just me?" Like, well, I mean, we're good buddies and all, but I don't think
Right? I don't need to see
gotta work it out
anything.
right now. But-
Yeah, Brian
Uh-uh.
definitely does not care.
No.
No. And there's nothing wrong with that, really. I mean,
No.
Yeah.
you're just a man who's comfortable on vacation.
Hey,
Exactly.
I honestly don't
Yeah.
Whether
mind
your friend's buddies here or not. So driving here, there's 6 of us in a car for without the time change, 23 hours in a car together. Minus
Yeah.
we did actually, also keep in mind this is the first time ever that we've stopped and spent the night in a
Yes,
hotel.
we have never done that.
We've never done that. We've
Well,
always driven
I mean,
straight
usually
through.
you guys have got the RV now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess that makes it a lot easier than a 12 person Sprinter van,
Yeah.
Yes.
which is a lot easier than a 3-row Tahoe or something like
That's
that.
what we were supposed to get,
Yeah.
and then that
Yeah.
epically failed when we went to pick up the
when
rental.
that happened, I think that's when the vacation really started, and I was like, "All right, well, here we go."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like kind of we do have a really good week when we're here, but some of
Yeah.
our best moments too, I think we're kind of all exhausted, but are in the vehicle
In the car,
traveling.
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, come on, Levi, how many times did somebody say something about New Mexico?
Oh, I mean, if they didn't spend all their money on Albuquerque, they'd have more money to make the rest of the state more appealing.
Yes.
Yeah, our
You've done a
producer
lot.
Chris. I don't know how many times he said that, and that's kind of been the going joke of the week now. Like,
Yeah.
if they didn't spend all their money in Albuquerque, the rest of the roads in New Mexico might have been smooth.
I mean, just about anything if you could complain about anything on the trip, it draws back to, well, if they didn't spend all their money in Albuquerque.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, we're in Arizona and in a Walmart, and they don't have any numbers for the mailbox. Well, if they didn't
Right.
spend all their money in Albuquerque, they could afford numbers.
and on Monday when was St. Patrick's Day, last Monday was St.
yeah.
Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
And the boys and I had to go to Walmart for the second day in a row. And we run into Chuck, the Walmart greeter.
Well, that's not the only guy we ran into at Walmart.
Chuck was all fancified in his
Oh
St.
my
Patty's Day
gosh.
outfit. He was rocking it. And do keep in mind, we saw him on Sunday when we went there to get groceries.
And
Chuck was
Tuesday
there.
when we went there the next day.
And we had to go there Tuesday to look for... What did we go Tuesday for?
I
I don't even
Probably
know.
like me.
Cold
I think.
medicine.
Cold medicine for
Cold medicine.
Caden because he ended
Caden's
up getting
sick.
sick.
Well, and then we had to go again on
Wednesday
for Evan.
to get work.
But we're gonna get something else too.
I think we got more
Numbers.
cold medicine.
Yesterday was the numbers.
Did you
Today's
went to Home
Thursday.
Depot?
Yeah, and then we went to
Yeah.
Home
And then we
Depot
had to go to
after.
Home
Yeah.
Depot.
Why don't
Yeah.
you tell him about the guy who ran into you? It was really close. What happened there?
Oh,
Well, that's a
Levi,
story.
you
So-
better keep that PG rated.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
So what is this? Sunday?
This was Sunday because Chris
The-
was with us.
The first day that we got here, We wake up bright and early. Well, not bright and early. It was like 9 o'clock at this point. I had just woken up and.
That might be bright and early for you.
Well, yeah. Hey, back home it's 11, so
Yeah,
that's
okay.
still bright and early for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caden wakes me up with music playing. I'm like, dear God, this is gonna be like this all week.
Yep.
And I'm like, gee, thanks, pal. So he wakes me up and he goes, well, Lisa and I, he says my mom and I had to Walmart. He goes, you want to come? I go, yeah, sure. So, and Chris comes too. So it's me, Lisa, Caden, and Chris. And we all had to Walmart. And so we get there. we get our cart. We walk in.
We see Chuck.
We say hi to Chuck for the first time.
Chuck for the first time.
And we're like, hey, remember us. We'll be here tomorrow and the next day. He's probably worried about us.
He probably is because he hasn't seen us today.
We refuse.
I refuse to go there today.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, Sunday. Go back to Sunday.
So Sunday we get in, we get our cart, and
We're getting groceries for a few days.
yeah, we go right in front is the produce section, and so we go to the produce section and we're getting tomatoes, onions, mushrooms, or zucchini or whatever we get.
Whatever we're getting.
Yeah.
And so there's this guy at the end of the aisle. He's on a phone call. He's talking, and I see him down there when we first come in. I'm like, okay, there's a guy on the phone down there. And so he kind of starts walking towards us. We kind of start walking towards him, and you know,
He's walking backwards.
yeah. And then we kind of start walking like in his way, like you know how you kind of get in the way of other people. You back up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So at first I thought he was just trying to back up to get out of our way, but he just keeps following us, and I'm like, okay, is this guy just not getting the idea that like just stop and we're gonna end up going around you? No, he backs up all the way and he hits the end, like the end, like
Oh, no.
Like, you know how sometimes they put shelves on the end of the aisle? He runs into that.
they had
What
some
was
kind of,
on there?
I don't know, probably some kind of like it looked like seed packets or it was like a
Oh.
packet of something
Oh.
For like your produce or
like
whatever.
if
yeah.
you want to grow your own stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
It knocks
Gotcha.
over, falls onto the floor, not all of it, maybe like a packet or two.
So,
And he doesn't even bother to look, anything. So we turn around the corner, we're like, all right, we're just going to leave this guy to it. So we keep walking. He's still backwards walking towards us. And finally he turns around and is walking in the same direction we are, so pointing the same way. And we all kind of stop. Lisa stops in front of one of the
frozen
frozen
end
fridges
caps.
at the end. And we all kind of stop and are like, I'm thinking, okay, well, what are we thinking about getting here? And this guy just keeps walking closer and closer and closer and closer.
Oh, good
And
lord.
I mean, he gets real close to behind
I mean-
Lisa. I mean,
I would say he's what, 6-7 inches behind me?
Some people say like 6-7 inches. I think he was dang near like front to back.
Touching me.
Yeah. And I was
Oh.
like, I'm looking around like, is this guy like unironically this close?
Real?
Is he gonna like take his hand out? He has one hand in his pocket, one hand on the phone. I'm like, okay, well, is he gonna take his hand out of his pocket? What's going on here? Finally, Kane steps up and is like, hey, excuse me, like we're walking here. Or like, you need to back up. You're way too close. And I mean, even I was like, well, is this guy like? Is anybody gonna like say something to this guy? Because I'm gonna tell him to
Yeah.
move too. Kane comes out of nowhere and does it, and he's like, finally the guy backs up all up in a huff and a puff. And he's like, well, I got these 4 idiots in front of me who are blocking the way.
Oh my gosh.
And we're like, we're in your way. We were
What?
walking behind you.
What?
And you walked up to us, and we just kind of stopped, and you were. Well, in our personal bubble, I mean, you could probably feel him breathing on your neck.
Oh
how
my
close
God.
it was.
I
No
was a little
way.
panicked at first because he was so close to me, and at that moment I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know what to do because
Yeah.
he was so close to me. And I look back on it now, and I'm like, you know what? I feel like at that moment, I think to myself, I raised some pretty darn good kids. Like, Caden stepped
Yeah.
in and put his hand between me and the guy
Yeah.
and was like, whoa, buddy, back off.
Yeah.
And I know that, like, if Caden wouldn't have been there, like, obviously you or Chris
Yeah.
would have done that. But
Yeah.
it was so, like,
I mean, it was really.
I'm like,
I
what
mean,
the heck is this guy gonna do?
Even I
I
was.
don't know.
I even like if he was any farther back, I'd have been like, all right, this guy's just like he's
Weird.
like,
Yeah.
probably high or something. Like that. He's
Yeah.
just kind of tweaking out a little bit. He's just not really fully aware of what's going on. But I mean, he was way too close. Like even the point where even Kane and I were kind of stepping in on this guy. Like you got to back up.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, one hand in his pocket. Who knows? Like
Who knows what he
Exactly.
had?
yeah, if his hand came out of
Did
his
you
pocket.
have your?
No. Like, so Brian and I both carry. Several years ago, we got stranded in New Mexico, probably because the roads weren't very good.
Right, the roads are bad, so you broke down.
Albuquerque.
Yeah,
They
they
spent all their money in
spent all their money in Albuquerque. So we broke down. There's been 2 years in a row that we've had to stay in New Mexico because we've been broken down. And
Yes.
ever since then, Brian and I both have decided, you know what? When we're traveling, it's
Have a
probably
little
not a bad
protection.
idea because Caden's baseball bats are underneath the RV, so we're not going to be able to get to them fast.
Yeah.
So we both started carrying.
Well, that's what my dad did when
Yeah.
he was a semi truck driver, so he drove all across the country. So
Yeah.
he had like a metal bat,
Yeah.
a wooden bat, and then I'm sure probably like a golf club or something.
Yeah.
Some form of like
Something.
taser,
Yeah.
pepper spray, stun something in there.
These days you never know.
You don't know. So
what can happen.
no, I do not carry mine anywhere I go when we're at home.
Especially into a Walmart.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we brought them to Arizona because we traveled across state, country. We brought them. But no, I did not have it in the Walmart. But I was like, I felt safe because I had 3 guys with me.
Yeah.
Three like people that you were with.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it was, that guy was very interesting.
I keep looking back, like, why would, like, you're standing in the produce looking at the front door. Like, there's no way he didn't see all 4 of us walk in together.
Yeah.
Like, if we had kind of staggered in, then maybe I would think, like, okay, maybe this guy had, like,
was going to try to follow me.
Was going to try to, like,
something.
follow you or something like that.
I've had that happen before,
But,
honestly, in the Ames Walmart.
With the 4 people
Yeah.
walking in, there's no way, if that's, like, your thought process, you're like, okay, yeah, those 4 people I'm going to follow, like, just myself.
Yeah.
With, like, I mean...
A lady with 3 guys, I'd be like, nope, I'm not going after her.
Yeah.
Pick somebody else. Pick another crazy. Go
Yeah.
after Chuck.
Yeah.
Chuck,
He's at the front door. I'm
He's
sure.
at the front door being the greeter.
Yeah.
He's so cute though for an older man.
Oh, you should have seen him in his leprechaun
I was
outfit.
with you. I did.
Oh,
He
see.
was so
We
cute.
forgot you went that day.
He
We've
looks so
been there
natural.
so
Yeah.
many
We've been there
times.
so many times.
Right?
Maybe tomorrow. We might have to go one last time tomorrow.
We got
Why?
one. No, we're okay.
What do we need?
We might need to see Chuck.
We gotta see Chuck.
Okay.
We'll just go to go. I think we should kind of wrap this up. Tracy, do you have anything else you want to talk about? We've had some great memories.
Yeah, I mean, with as many stories that you guys probably have, I mean, we could be out for hours.
We could
Yeah.
we could have multiple episodes of Arizona
with
trips.
Just the trips. I mean, I've been here for a week, and I haven't even talked about everything that I've been, or not been through, but experienced so
Experience, but I mean, by
Well-
golly, the top was probably the
far. The Walmart.
the
and,
Walmart, the roads in Albuquerque,
the Subway.
the subway. I mean,
Oh,
in
subways.
Oklahoma, you can't forget about today. The water lady. The water lady came today to Grandma's
Yeah.
Oh,
to
good
fix the
Lord.
water,
Man, she was a.
The
I didn't even.
filtered water.
I was in the pool, so I have no idea why I was there.
Oh god.
You just heard the
She
story
tucked
about
her
the water
ear.
lady. Grandma basically told this water lady that's apparently been here every year the whole life story on who we all were. But hey, now this
Yeah.
water lady knows. But anyways,
No, I don't know. The boys always have memories and
we enjoy it. I know that the boys are getting older and it's probably not
Yeah.
going to be,
well, we're missing one kid.
we are
He's
with
not
Blake
here
and
this
Kylie
year.
moving. We don't get to see them here in Arizona like we normally do, but we do get to. Sorry, we're laughing because we're sitting outside doing the podcast and we won't let the dog out here because it's dark, and so she's
She's pounding
at
at
the
door.
window pouting because she can't come out here.
Kane and I like to joke.
Um,
He sends me TikToks, and he's like, they're usually ones that are like, I know who's not touching the microphone at my wedding. So anytime something between Kate and I happens, and it's one of those moments where it's like, hey, you remember that one time? He's like, you're not getting anywhere near the microphone. I'm like, oh, if you don't think that I'm gonna find it somehow and really like tell everybody what we've been through.
Right?
I mean,
Caden should listen to this one because it might be all about him and he's never going to know.
Yeah,
Because
might be all about-
Caden and Evan, we both asked them to be on here to give us their Arizona trip highlights and non-highlights, and
Yeah.
neither one of them would do it, but Levi stepped up to the game.
Hey, I mean, why not, right?
Exactly. They could. There was another story where we went to. I wanted to go to the Petrified Forest. You remember that?
Oh my gosh, the boys were
Oh
so
my
mad at
gosh.
you. They still
It
will not
was
let you live that down.
so bad.
We told you we could go on and on about all the
Yeah.
things that
We
we've done in
could.
Arizona.
We're probably going to have to just do another episode later
Yeah.
on about the
Maybe the
Petrified
boys will
Forest
join
in
us
Arizona.
and-
And well, Tracy, when the boys were younger, you always used to bribe them. So maybe,
I did.
Maybe you
need to
should
bribe
just
With
them.
bribe them.
cookies at the mall.
yeah.
Don't
but
bribe them with the
now-
cookies from inside.
No, don't get cookies inside of grandma's.
No.
Kaden learned that the hard way last night. But now Kaden really likes nerd clusters. So
Oh,
you can
yeah.
try to bribe him with nerd clusters. Evan, easy peasy. Just get him a whiskey drink. Bribe him with that.
Yeah. I think if I asked them to do anything, I think they would do it because
They'll
it's
do it.
me.
Yeah. So I think this is a good time where we can
Wrap it up.
wrap it up. Make sure that you are following us on your favorite socials and listening to us on your favorite podcasts.
On your favorite
Oh my gosh,
Media.
that's gonna need an edit.
Or,
Favorite
or streaming
podcast.
service
Favorite
or whatever
streaming.
you wanna call it.
Streaming services. And stay tuned for the next episode. And keep sipping, listeners. And we'll see you next time on the next podcast.
Thanks for having me.
You are welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Of course.